Rest in peace. Goodbye. Fly. I repeat. Rest in peace. So praises up. God makes no mistakes. His will be the way. Wish I could see you one more time, yeah. And not just a friend, you a family. So brother, what you over me? When you never try for me, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanna say, rest in peace, rest in peace. Goodbye, fly away. I repeat, rest in peace. And so love to all my real ones. Let's do it sometime. Feel till I know.
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to... I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. Okay, I think I got the energy cleared. I do not own the rights to the music. Okay, that's by Ja Vinci. Goodbye. Okay, good song, good song. And I really like this song because I feel this is the theme song for this new moon in Scorpio, because there is a shedding, there is a transformation, a death, and a rebirth. So this is a fitting song because you're saying goodbye to the old you, okay? So with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome, welcome everyone, okay? This is Malik from Malik's Mystical Magic and Intuitive Consultations. I will be your astrologer tonight, but I am a tarot reader, a spiritual healer, a spiritual teacher, a spiritual advisor, as well as a numerologist, a creative stone healer, as well as chakra stone oils. Okay, so we're going to get into this new moon because it's very intense, and I'm not going to waste any much of your time. And we're going to talk about one of the most intense transformative new moons that we will experience for the rest of 2005. So as you come in, when you come in, definitely acknowledge yourself so I can talk to you, okay? If you have any questions, I think I kind of did something to where if you have any questions, I should be able to see it, okay? I'm trying something new, so when I get my updated technology, I'll be able to share my screen and we'll be able to really have a visual to what I'm seeing, okay? But nonetheless, this is the best that I can do at this point, okay? Now, this is something that I'm going to just talk about the collective new moon here, okay, in Scorpio. In addition to that, I'm going to get into, I'm going to get into the transits that this new moon is making, okay? And then there are a few, aspects I'm saying, that this new moon is making with other planets, as well as some other planets that are making aspects as well. So we'll get into that energy, and then we'll break down the numerology, okay? In addition to that, I was going to kind of spend a little time explaining how you find your this energy in your natal chart, but I have the sky here where I am in Savannah. I have the natal chart, so I'll be able to let you see, hopefully, where what I'm talking about. So when you get your natal chart, in which you can do on astro.com, that's really an easy app, or so a website. Literally, you need to know your birth date, your birth time, okay? Literally, your birth time is very important. And then your city and city and state that you were born in. And if you have that information, you can get you a natal chart printed, okay? And that way, get the transits applied. That way you can see where this is playing out, which house, okay? But that's the reason why I'm here, because I'll help you know what that is for you if you don't have access to that or it's just too confusing. If you need assistance, reach out to me. I will be of assistance, as this is what I do every day, okay? Now, we're going to get into it and go from here. Okay, so what I want to say is definitely this is not a gentle lunation, okay? And I left my dang on clear quartz and my selenite, but nonetheless, okay. My stones, I be needing them for with all this energy. But nonetheless, this is definitely not what you call a general normal lunation, okay? Or a gentle lunation at that. This one is surgical. When you deal with Scorpio, it is surgical. So it's going to cut away what can no longer continue, even if you aren't emotionally ready to admit it, okay? Why? Because this new moon is happening at 28 degrees of Scorpio, one of the most karmic, high-pressure degrees in the Zodiac. So anything late degree Scorpio, it touches the truth, okay? And this new moon isn't showing up alone. In addition to this new moon, which will be exact at 1:35 a.m. as we go into the next day tomorrow, okay? So in a few hours, it'll be exact. So we're in the energy, and we've been in it for a day or two or three, okay? We've been in a lot of energy lately, but nonetheless, that's when the moon will be exact at 28 degrees. So this is one of the karmic Zodiac degrees, okay? And so this new moon is also interesting because it mirrors the sun. The sun is at 28 degrees as well in Scorpio. So the moon and the sun are conjunct at 28 degrees Scorpio. Okay, the moon is 27 degrees, the sun is 28, okay? Now, Mercury retrograde That's also back from Sagittarius back into Scorpio. From Sagittarius back into Scorpio at 28 degrees, okay? Then we have Lilith, okay? Lilith is in 26 degrees of Scorpio. So all of this clustered energy is in the same psychological house of the Zodiac, okay? This is the place, the house of Scorpio, is where we hide our deepest motives, our heartbreaks, our fears, our desires, and the patterns that we don't want anyone else to know about, okay? This is deep waters, dark energy, okay? So this is very interesting. As you see it play out in the collective, you will also see it played out in your lives if you haven't experienced it yet. Many people who I've been in contact with are going through it at this very moment. So the new moon, this particular new moon is a psychic evacuation, okay? Or I'd say a excavation, okay? Literally, you know how you got to pull it up out, extract, okay? A purge, a detox, okay, of literally the emotional sewage that we've been carrying in our bodies, okay, in our energy. And when I say the sewage, this could be literal toxic energy or energetic toxicity, okay? But nonetheless, there's a purge that's occurring, and it could be very, very emotional, okay? Now, Mercury is also in retrograde. And because of that, being in Scorpio, your mind, Mercury is the planet that rules the mind, the thoughts, the speech, okay? Because you got to think it before you speak it. So Mercury rules the mind. So your mind is going backwards because Mercury is in retrograde, okay? Which is retrograde is the time to reflect, okay? And review, revise, renew, release, okay? So your mind is going backwards into the places that you thought you had already kind of healed. Whether that's old conversations, old betrayals, old obsessions, old regrets, old stories, all of that is coming back up so that you can see the root cause of the issue, okay? And Lilith, and I'll get to Lilith, okay? Speaking of which, okay, Lilith literally is... okay, so the sun. So when we look at Lilith, Lilith is the wound under the womb. Okay, if you want to say it. Chiron is the wound. Okay, but Lilith is the wound under the womb. So for those who don't know, I'm just going to give a general idea. We are more than a sun. A sun is your birth date. Okay, so if you were born November the 5th, that's your sun sign. Okay, so your sun is your identity. Your moon is your feelings. Your Mercury is your mind. Venus is love and money. Mars is action and passion. Jupiter are blessings. Saturn is lessons, structure, discipline, okay? Uranus is about shocks, awakening. Neptune is about dreams, illusions. Pluto is about transformation. The node, south node, north node is the past and your destiny. The south node is your past. The north node is your destiny. Okay, Lilith is your shadow truth. And Chiron is your wounding and your healing. Okay, so those are the quick, for beginners. Okay, so I don't want to get too off track. So when I talk about the sun, your identity, the moon, your feelings, Mercury, your mind, Lilith, that wound under the wound, this is all in Scorpio. Okay, so Lilith being in Scorpio is sitting right next to the sun and the moon, which makes it even deeper. Lilith is that wound, right? Under the wound. So the part of you that felt punished, silenced, shamed, rejected, or just too much, that is what we're facing, okay? So just want to give you a little indication. This moon is hitting a little more than just one planet. It's a lot going on. So this new moon also exposes where you've kind of minimized your pain just to keep functioning. Okay, but here's the kicker. Uranus, there's an opposition. Okay, so while the moon is in Scorpio, okay, and I mean this could be a visual. So let's see here, Scorpio right here. Okay, so all of these planets in Scorpio. Let me see. Yeah, right here. All of them planets in Scorpio right now, okay? Right across from Scorpio is Taurus. That's Uranus, okay? So right across, they share the same axis. So there's an opposition. It is opposing the sun, the moon, Lilith. They're opposing Uranus. That is the break point. Uranus is shocking, okay? And literally, it's in Taurus, which is Earth, okay? So earthquakes. But nonetheless, I think we just had an earthquake too. So, I mean, the Earth is feeling it, we feeling it. But Uranus being at 29 degrees, exactly opposing this new moon in Scorpio, this is the release valve, okay? This is the earthquake, literally and energetically. This is where any place in your life that has been stuck, stagnant, predictable, repetitive, or fake gets cracked open, okay? Uranus is the shock. Scorpio is the truth, okay? And when these two fight across the sky, opposing each other, it forces breakthroughs, breakdowns, breakups, realizations, sudden changes in direction, emotional lightning strikes, rapid endings, and rapid awakenings, okay? So you're not going back to the old version after this, I promise you, okay? You're not going back to the old version. Whatever this new moon reveals is irreversible, okay? So that's why it's so important. In addition to that, now, the moon coming in with the sun, Mercury, Lilith, opposing Uranus, already heavy enough. Then let's dip into this water grand trine, which is this emotional and spiritual support. At the exact same time, this trine occurs, with Jupiter being in Cancer at 25 degrees, Saturn being in retrograde at 25 degrees of Pisces. This new moon in Scorpio at 27, 28 degrees, rounded up to 29 degrees, Scorpio. So we got all water signs being affected, okay? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio with this grand water trine. Now, this forms a near perfect emotional triangle in the sky. And the energy is saying with this here, you are supported in this transition because the trine is a helpful energy, an aspect, okay? If it was in a conjunction, it just depends on the planets, okay? If it's a square, you know, it could be tense, okay? But this is an opposition, especially with Uranus. Expect the unexpected when Uranus comes into play. So this is a trine and a sextile. They are usually good aspects to have. So this here is going to help support you in this transition that you're going through, this cathartic transition that we're all going through. You are also protected as you release, okay, whatever it is that's toxic, as you purge. You're also being emotionally and spiritually guided through this purge. Your ancestors are present. Your intuition is wide open. Your spiritual body is doing the work that your conscious mind has been avoiding, okay? So this is rare that we have these things that are occurring right now at the same time. So it's nothing that you can do about it. It is being done for you, okay? Jupiter and Saturn, they're together right now, okay? And what they're saying is we're restructuring you from the inside out. Do not fear what is ending. Fear what would happen if you stay the same, okay? Fear what would happen if you stay the same. Repetitive cycles, karmic review, because you haven't learned your lesson when you got the call, okay? So that is very important because Saturn is Big Daddy Saturn, the karma bringer, okay? Jupiter is the blessings or the lessons, you know, but they're all teaching you that you're going to have to structure the inside out, okay? Let go of the fear, because that's all about that scorpionic energy, you know, that fear, that depth, those secrets, what's hidden beneath the surface. It's all coming up, okay? So now let's get into the other mystical planet, Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, the final dissolution, okay? This here is working a number on us. When I tell you, if you're looking out in the collective and you got people like, oh man, is it COVID brain? Why are people tripping? Do you not understand and see the difference between, you know, what the reality is? the illusions, the AI confusions, okay? All of that stuff is at an all-time high. So you really have to use your intuition to be able to discern the truth, okay, beneath the fog. But the veil is thin. We in Scorpio season, okay? In this anorectic degree, baby, we're not playing. So this Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, okay, forming a trine to these Scorpio planets, a trine, okay, to these Scorpio planets. So this is literally the dissolving of illusions. This is collapse of fantasies. This is washing away of denial, the thinning of the veil, the heightened intuition, the messages in the dreams, the memories resurfacing, the emotional floodgates that are opening. Many clients that I'm speaking to every day are experiencing dreams, synchronicities, weird things that are occurring. This is why, okay? So pay attention to your dreams. If you're dreaming, jot them down. They may not be literal, they may be symbolic, okay? So it's very important that we pay attention to what we are feeling, seeing, okay? And what downloads we're getting, okay? Now, Neptune is asking you to surrender to what's really happening without fighting it, okay? You're not losing control. You're losing the illusion that had you under control, okay? The big difference there. Now, we're going to keep going because the backdrop to this, we can't forget, because Pluto was the traditional ruler of Scorpio, okay? Oh, no, Mars was the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is, okay? So Pluto playing a background here. Pluto is in Aquarius at 1 degrees. Isn't directly touching any lunation, but it creates a backdrop. The collective is shifting from emotional survival into conscious empowerment. And if you look out in the world, the things that are going on across the world, you can see this energy being embodied and taken advantage of. Some of them are utilizing it in the dark shadow manner, negative, low vibrational way. Some of them are using this in the positive way, okay? But nonetheless, this is the energy that is going on. So we're shifting, okay? Anything about your identity, your voice, your autonomy, okay, that was suppressed over the past year is coming up now. Okay, and it's not coming up for review. It's coming up so that you can understand it, because it's got to go. It's going to change you. The emotional intensity around it is going to change you. And it's about who's going to feel it the most, and I'll get into that energy. So not everyone is going to feel it as intense as most, but I'll share definitely the ones who will feel it the most. And if you have your natal chart, what to look for to know what house this is, how intense this is going to be. Now, the overall message that this moon and these aspects are having, okay, is asking us, or, you know, really not so much asking, because it's not asking, it's really letting you know, because it's doing it for us. So this is an energy of all of this collective energy that's playing out in Scorpio with the Grand Trine, Water Trine, okay, as well as the aspects that this moon is making to all of these planets that are opposing Uranus. A lot going on. So what you have been tolerating, minimizing, avoiding, or bypassing, you can no longer carry, okay? You must shed the skin of who you were in order to walk into who you're becoming. The truth will not kill you, but stand in denial will. There's a lot of 3D people that are not conscious, not woke, not focusing on the things that you would under this energy that is being pushed upon us, okay? Not a lot of people are alert. So those people are drifting, and others who are drifting, okay? So if you really pay attention, you can kind of see who is in that good energy or who is just in that stuck energy, because they just don't know how to take advantage of this and face it. But at the end of the day, I don't think that they're going to have, the harder you resist, the more challenging the energy becomes for you. So let it go, let it flow, because you are protected, okay? So you really got to be able to understand that this is the emotional death before the rebirth, okay? So with that said, if something leaves your life now, it was already dead, okay? If something cracks open now, the truth was already there. If you suddenly understand something that you ignored before, the signs were already present. This new moon is the moment of recognition. It can't no hide no more. It's been in the depths of the scorpionic energy, right? Hidden. Now no more. It's coming to the surface, okay? Secrets are coming to light. Look at your president. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, but I ain't monetized, so I'll try to do what I can to say this jump. But anyway, the moment that, I would say the moment where everything inside of you is saying, this cannot continue. And the universe is responding to you, good. Let's change it, okay? So literally, that is the collective message of this, all of this energy here for this new moon. So let's get a little further because I want to get into some numerology, okay? Because this numerology breakdown is kind of woven in a way that matches this energy here, okay? And it's directly tied into this theme of this lunation. Numerology for this date of this new moon is November the 20th of 2025, okay? And this is this, I would call it the Scorpio New Moon code, so to speak. Now, this is about, let's get into the really unpacking the karmic number that this embodies, okay? So 11/20/2025 is the date, okay? And every part of this date reinforces Scorpio's message: endings, truth, karmic release, rebirth, spiritual elevation through surrender, okay? So let's go piece by piece. The portal number is 11 because this is November. This is the 11th month, the master number. 11 is awakening, revelation, downloads, psychic openings, okay? Sudden awareness, spiritual messages, turning points. The moment that your intuition becomes louder than your fear. This is not a number of comfort. This is a number of activation, okay? 1 is action, that Aries, movement, okay? Act. 1, that's the first zodiac. You got 2 of them, so it doubles and amplifies that. So under this new moon at this karmic degree, that 11 makes this a spiritual initiation. So this is the universe telling you, pay attention because you're being redirected, okay? Now let's get into the judgment 20, okay? That is the date 20, okay? That's about reflection and accountability. Now, the day 2020 carries the energy of awakening after denial, seeing the results of your choices, being called to account, a spiritual wake-up call, making a decision that affects the future, realizing what needs to be forgiven or released, okay? 20 is that judgment card in that tarot deck, okay? Matching that perfectly scorpionic energy of, let me just show you, okay? Because I pulled it out. This is my committed deck that a friend gave to me. And let me show you the world here. Yeah, this is for those who are interested. This is the bomb. The Comedic Tarot. Okay, if you can see that. The Comedic Tarot. Okay. So this is the book that I am, the deck. So I want you to see this judgment card because everyone has a judgment day. And this is coming our way spiritually, energetically, through life and through death. Okay? Judgment call. Hall of Truth. Check that out. Okay, so let you know your heart and a feather is being weighed to determine, you know, what's heavier, what's lighter. Is your heart lighter than a feather? Okay, think about that. So this is the resurrection, the honesty, the karmic review, the rebirth through truth. And this is where you say, I see it now, I get it, and I choose differently, okay? So this is definitely the wake-up call, okay? This is spirit saying, yo, what have you done lately, okay? And I hope you answer the call, because if you don't, Spirit gonna do it for you, okay? Most High gonna do it for you. Now let's go further. We talked about this a few videos ago, the year 2025, the year of the snake, the number 9 year of the year of the snake in Chinese astrology, and then also the year number 9, 2025 equates to 9, okay? And so the universal vibration of the year 9, of course, is completion, okay? And numerology is 0 to 9, okay? 0 to 9. All of that is the basic numerology format, and then you go further into different numbers. But nonetheless, the number 9 alone is about completion, final chapters, endings, closures, because 9s are endings that bring beginnings, okay? Well, 10. Once you get to the 10, it's done. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a done data. But the 9 is like, hey, you at the end, okay? So this is your last wrap. Or your last, this your last dang on lap, for real, okay? I don't know why, anyway, y'all, I've been having weird energy going on with myself as well, okay? So anyway, this is really a moment where this 9 is asking you to let go of the emotional, spiritual, and the psychological weight. You can't carry old patterns into a 9-year vibration. The universe strips them away, okay? So when it's combined with this Scorpio New Moon, this is the death before the rebirth, okay? And so let's look at the death card in the deck, okay? I love Egyptian, Egyptology, okay? The Book of the Dead, and I mean everything. So this is, let me see, make sure. Okay, the death card, okay? So this is what happens. The death is not a literal death, although if you are doing those type of inquiries, then you can find that. But what? Give me a second. I'm going to make sure I have. I want to show you the death card. Okay. This is Anpu in Egyptian terminology. This is the death card, okay? So literally, this is the death and the rebirth, okay? Death and the rebirth. So you see how he has the Ankh for life? You know, in order to be reborn anew, you have to let go of the old, okay? So this is the energy here. Death before rebirth, okay? And so that's the judgment. Okay, these two are very karmic energies, very heavy energies. And when they come in, they're coming in for review. Okay, so let's keep going, okay? I definitely don't want to be on here too long. So when you look at the universal day number, 11/20/2025, you add all of that up, okay? And you come to 2056. And you add all that up because the goal is to get to the single digit to find the vibration of the day, okay? So you add 2056, and that equals 13, okay? Now, definitely, let's stop there real quick because 13 is the death and the rebirth card, okay? In spirituality and in tarot, the 13 is the divine feminine as well as the death card in the tarot. Not a physical death. Transformation, metamorphosis, the shift from one identity into another. And so 13 is saying something must be released. Something must be reborn. You're crossing a threshold. This is a karmic purge for you. The old version of you is expiring. Okay. Now, then let's go further. 1 + 3 is 4. Now we got down to the vibration of the day, which is 4. That's stability after destruction, okay? So once the tower falls, okay? Because Pluto gonna come around and ask you, is you ready to change that behavior? You ready to stop doing something that you know consciously deep down is not right? Whether that's a pattern or behavior, something toxic, something that doesn't serve your highest purpose no more. Something that is not the person that you are becoming or the person who you are. Whatever that is, whoever that is, it has to go. So the tower comes in, and this is the tower. Okay, in this deck, it's indicated by pyramids, but nonetheless, This is the Tower, and it's crumbling. And can you see the third eye? No, but you can see the Sirius star. Okay. Oh, wow. So, yeah. Whatever was built on a faulty foundation literally has to crumble, okay? And what comes after that is your ability to start anew, okay? So you go through your death, rebirth. Either it's going to be a forceful tower by the universe, okay? Yeah, it's always by the universe, but nonetheless, you're going to have the universe do it for you. The universe is going to do it for you. There's something that's going to happen. Now, this could be an epiphany. This can be a destruction of something old that has to be built anew, okay? But nonetheless, the number 4 is the stability after destruction. So 4 is the building, okay? The foundations, the structure, the commitment, the order, the discipline, the new identity, and the new boundaries. And 4 is Saturn's vibration, and it's a perfect match to Saturn's role in this grand water trine, okay? So just something to think about. Now, this numerology mirrors the astrology, okay? Definitely. Because you have the 11 as November. That is Uranus opposition, which is about spiritual awakening. You have 20 as the date. That's the judgment card. That's also Mercury retrograde. Truth surfacing. You have the 9 as the actual date of the year. 9 is finality, endings, karmic closure. And then you break that down, that date down to a 13. You get the Scorpio death rebirth cycle, because we're looking at 28 to 29 degrees. Okay, and then you go further. 1 plus 3, you break that down even further. 4, you can't go no more down. That's new structure. That's Saturn and Jupiter wanting you to rebuild. And the numbers and the planets are saying the same thing. This is the end of an emotional cycle that has run its course, boo-boo. Okay, a new foundation is required, and you cannot build it with the same pieces that broke you. Okay, now let's get into the Sabian symbol. This is coming in at 28 degrees and some minutes, so you always round up. So we're going to go to 29 degrees of Scorpio. And the Sabian symbol is a symbolic type of statement. Okay, so we're going to look at what it says and what it means. The Sabian symbol for 29 degrees Scorpio is an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. Okay? An Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. Now let's talk about the Sabian symbol, that sits on this new moon, because this is where the message becomes undeniable. This new moon is at 28 degrees Scorpio, okay? But Sabian symbols round up, okay? So we at 29. This is the most dramatic, emotional, and karmic symbols in this entire zodiac, okay? So picture this with this Sabian symbol. A woman is standing before the chief. That chief could be the figure of authority, power, law, and judgment. She is pleading for the lives of her children, who are the most innocent, vulnerable, and precious parts of life. Okay? That symbol speaks of desperation, protection, advocacy. Okay, Mercury is heavy on me in retrograde. So when I say I've been stuttering and messing up words, baby. Okay, now this is about advocacy, emotional truth, life or death decision points, fighting for what matters. Okay, revealing what you can no longer ignore. A plea coming from the deepest part of the soul, baby. So this is Scorpio's story in its purest form. Raw emotion, survival instinct, facing power structures, exposing truths, fighting for the future. But there's a deeper layer, okay? Because the children in this Sabian symbol represents you. The children aren't literal. They're symbolic. The children in this Sabian symbol is your inner child, your gifts, your voice, your potential, your dreams, your spirit, your future, the parts of you that are innocent, unprotected, and vulnerable. Okay, and I really, really recommend you work on your inner wound, your child, because there's so many people that's doing toxic things because they ain't healed. They're projecting their anger into you because that's a reflection of who they are and how they feel on the inside parts. Okay, so you need to work on that inner child. Okay, you need to do that shadow work. Okay, you need to find your gifts. You need to speak. Let your voice be heard. You need to understand your potential. You need to explore your dreams. You need to rejuvenate your spirit. You need to plan for your future, okay? You need to be vulnerable, okay? Now, the chief here in this story, okay, is mom is trying to make sure her children are taken care of, pleading to the chief. The chief represents that authority figure, a system, a partner, the past, okay, a karmic relationship, a power imbalance, a version of you that has been in survival mode, your own psychological gatekeeper, okay? This is what this energy is. The Sabian symbol is saying to you, you are now at the point where you must advocate for the parts of yourself that you abandoned, silenced, or sacrificed to keep the peace. And if anybody ain't felt that, your girl felt that, okay? So, baby, get there, okay? You'll get there. It's going to be emotional. It's primal, but it's also non-negotiable, okay? Now, the pleading is the breakthrough. The symbol is about a confrontation, not for drama, but for survival. This is a moment of truth right now. This is a moment of surrendering, asking for mercy, asking for clarity, asking for justice, asking for a new outcome, okay? And in a Scorpio New Moon context, this is the moment where you stop pretending everything is fine and you speak from your soul, okay? This is also the moment when the truth spills out. Look at your dictator out here. He running from stuff that's spilling out at every angle. It's leaking. It ain't no plug to stop it. This is an example of that very thing. So it's happening everywhere. What is going on behind the scenes is coming out because God is bringing it out because it ain't right. So think about that, okay? Next thing is the masks of the fake people, the fake energy, the illusion they dropping. The emotion is undeniable and the breakthrough finally happens. It's a threshold moment. So take advantage of this energy and understand what's leaving you is meant to leave you because it don't align with you no more. Okay? Now, the karmic message of this Sabian symbol, the degree carries an all or nothing vibration. It's saying something vital must be protected, something innocent must be saved, something that cannot speak for itself must be given a voice. So you must make a stand. It's a time to face the authority, whether it's a person, a system, or the version of you that has been suppressing your own truth. And because the new moon is opposing Uranus, the message intensifies. You can't save your future by staying quiet, okay? Silent. You are stepping into your authority by confronting what once intimidated you. Your emotional truth is not weakness. It is survival, okay? And so this is the moment where your soul is saying, this is protection, this is empowerment, and you are reclaiming your power. Reclaiming your power, okay? So getting into who is most affected by this before we dip off into the Aries signs. Anyone who has 28 to 29 degrees. Oh, baby. So looking at this here, anyone with placements between 25 and 29 degrees of fixed signs. Those fixed signs are Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius. If you have degrees between 25 and 29 of Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, okay? Because this new moon is at 28 degrees and the Uranus is at 29 degrees of Taurus. The moon is in Scorpio. Uranus is in Taurus. This is creating a fixed axis, okay? 8th house, 2nd house in a normal chart, okay? 8th house Scorpio, 2nd house Taurus, okay? Now, this is for Scorpio direct conjunction, meaning that these planets are coming straight together, okay? Moon and the sun and Lilith and Mercury, all of that. Okay, then you got Taurus, direct opposition from that. Then you got Leo, direct square, and Aquarius, a direct square. So if you have any planets here, whether that's your sun, your moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or angles like your ascendant, your descendant, your MC, your IC, expect major turning points, endings, revelations, breakthroughs, or sudden shifts. This is karmic pressure. And no one with these degrees is gonna escape untouched. I'm sorry, but that's just what the universe is saying. People with planets between 25 and 29 degrees of water signs, that's Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Because of this grand trine, you're supported, okay? You're also being emotionally flooded right now, too, because you got Jupiter, which expands at 25 degrees Cancer. You got Saturn, which is restricting and teaching, okay? It is in 25 degrees Pisces. You got Neptune, which is about delusionment and, you know, boy, 29 degrees intense in Pisces. So that's where them dreams and synchronicities, oh boy, all of this stuff going on. And then you got the moon, 27 to 28 degrees in Scorpio, okay? So we got all the water houses lit up. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, which is creating this grand trine. So water placements in these degrees, 25 to 29 degrees, expect some emotional release, some intuitive downloads, some ancestral healing, some spiritual clarity, some psychic sensitivity, and some karmic closure. This group here, fixed signs, or the 27 to 25 to 29 degrees, this group gets the deepest healing, okay? But also the deepest emotional unraveling as well. Now, people with planets between 26 and 29 degrees of any sign, okay? Because Neptune and Uranus are at an anorectic degree of 29 degrees, and this new moon is at that karmic degree. So if you have any late degree planets, you're experiencing a chapter ending, a karmic loop closing, a spiritual initiation, a release of an identity you outgrew, a shift in purpose or direction. Okay, late degree planets equal major turning point. Now, people with Scorpio rising, Taurus rising, or strong 8th and 2nd house planets, because this axis of this lunation deals with truth, power, shared resources, intimacy, trauma, psychological patterns, personal versus shared values. These things come to the surface whether you want them or not, okay? So people with North Node, South Node, Chiron, Lilith, and late Scorpio or Taurus, this is big because the nodes of fate, South Node, North Node, karmic destiny. Chiron, deep wounds that are resurfacing. Lilith is you having to reclaim your shadow and deal with that, okay? And so if these points are hit, old trauma loops close, soul contracts shift, emotional or relational cycles break, you reclaim suppressed power, toxic patterns get exposed, generational themes rise. Lilith in late Scorpio equals shame becomes your liberation. Your shame becomes your liberation, okay? Now, people with angles, with your ascendant, your descendant, your MC, your IC, if it's at 26 to 29 degrees of any sign, okay? Any angles, major life sectors. Those events you would expect your identity, your relationships, your home, your career, okay? Depending on which angle it touches. So if you need help, okay, we can get there. But these people will see some visible life changes, some major announcements, some shifts in directions, some endings and beginnings, some relationship resets, some home career developments. This astrology that you can see, not just feel, okay? Visible. Now, Scorpio suns, moons, Venus. So if you have your planet, so if you were born during a late Scorpio season, if you have a Scorpio moon, if you have a Scorpio Venus, or if your Mercury is in Scorpio, because of this new moon, Mercury retrograde, and Lilith being in Scorpio, okay, this crew gets the full shadow cleansing treatment, okay? So this is about emotional truth that is totally unavoidable, okay? Now, who's going to feel it the hardest? Scorpio. 25 to 29 degree placements. Taurus, 25 to 29 degree placements. Leo and Aquariuses, as well as Cancer and Pisces. Those late degree planets. okay? Late degree angles, Scorpio or Taurus personal planets, South Node, North Node, or Lilith activations. Anything that is occurring in that is going to be the ones who feel it the hardest. This new moon is a turning point that kind of reshapes their trajectory. This is an emotional or karmic reset that they cannot avoid. So expect some breakthroughs, some breakdowns, some truth revelations, or quick shifts. Now, okay, we're not going to go into how you find this in your natal chart. We'll get into that on a more personal level, okay? I don't really have the time to do that right now, okay? So we're going to keep going, and we're going to get into these rising signs, okay? I'll tell you the houses. Now, your placements, I'm only giving you the general predictive energy. It all depends on how your particular natal chart is designed, because each one of us have a different chart, okay? So it might be a different, your stuff might be playing out in a different zodiac, okay? So it's important to look at this from your sun, your moon, and your rising signs, because it might resonate more with your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising, but I'm going to be looking at it from the perspective of the rising, okay? So first, this here is the rising sign, is your actual chart. It may shift slightly through the houses. That's why it's really important that you look at your exact degree in your natal chart, astro.com, free. Now, how do you work with this energy? Okay, how do you work with this Scorpio new moon energy? Okay, so this is not a manifestation moon. Okay, this ain't no manifestation moon. This is not a light your candle and make your wish type of moon either. This is a transformational purge. So think about things like release, renewal, honesty, emotional detox, karmic release, cutting cords, reclaiming your power, making peace with the truth. Okay? So here's how you work with that. Your shadow work. Acknowledging the unspoken truth. When you know you're toxic, you know you got secrets, you know you been doing something wrong, and you just thinking you just gonna go about life thinking that you can be like, no. All that toxic stuff is coming up. What has been hidden or suppressed, that's what Scorpio rules. So this is the best time for you to admit something to yourself that you've been avoiding. This is a good time for you to acknowledge your true desires, confront the wound under the wound, question the stories you tell to feel safe. Question the stories that you tell to feel safe, and explore where the fear is directing your choices. Ask yourself, what am I afraid to admit because it would require me to change? Because Scorpio always rewards honesty, even if it's uncomfortable. And I'm a Libra, truth speaker all day, okay? I give clarity, I expect clarity back. And when it's not clear, ooh, baby, I got Mars and Pluto in Libra. I pops the hell off. Now, release rituals. This new moon responds to letting go far more than calling anything in, okay? So this is a good time to cut some cords. This is a good time to burn some letters, just release some letters, okay? Water cleanse bath. Put you some salt. Himalayan salt, okay? Sea salt at the base of your shower. Stand on it to ground yourself, because that's a form of earth, okay? Ground yourself. Salt releases the negative energy. As you let that shower water run down and you visualize all of this toxic, negative thoughts, patterns, feelings, emotions, pain, let it all wash away. Okay, simple as that. That's a water cleansing bath and or shower. Ancestral release work. Throwing away objects that are tied to old cycles. Cleansing the home. Today I was definitely grabbing things that needed to go to donating clothes and stuff. So that was a form of clearing clutter, getting rid of old things that just doesn't serve its purpose no more, okay? Freeing up the runway so that I'm available when that plane lands with the gifts that are aligned for me, okay? So let's keep going real quick. So also, yeah, energetic clutter as well as emotional clutter, okay? So the goal is to make space, clear the psychic field, and end the old cycle consciously. Make space, okay? So we got to name what's died, okay? Metaphorically speaking, okay? So because this new moon has happened at this anorectic degree, the degree of endings, you should be consciously able to identify a belief that must die, a habit that must die, a relationship dynamic that must die, a fear, a version of yourself that must die, and then declare to yourself that I release this identity. It no longer is who I am, okay? This aligns with 13, that death card, death and rebirth. So we're breaking a pattern, okay? And we're not performing it. So with Uranus opposing this new moon, that means one thing, your liberation, because it's about liberation and freedom, okay, as well. It depends on doing something different. You can't do the same thing that you was doing before, okay? So let me give you some examples of what that could potentially mean. That could mean saying no when you've said yes out of guilt, breaking your silence, not responding to triggers the same way, ending a cycle of chasing or people-pleasing, stopping a toxic habit, refusing to carry someone else's emotional weight, interrupting trauma responses. There's so many people that I know who need help in these areas, okay? And the harder it is, the more resistant you are, the harder it is, okay? So the emotional release is really to let the dam break, because with this water grand trine, it's going to open up some floodgates, which are some healthy expressions. Releasing could be crying, journaling, speaking your truth, releasing resentment, admitting what hurt, talking to trusted people, and allowing yourself to feel without numbing it and escaping from it. Okay, Neptune is in Pisces. So this new moon is not meant to be stoic. It's meant to be cathartic. Okay, so rituals, purification, you're working with fire and water. Okay, because the Scorpio water with an opposition to Uranus, which is about lightning and fire. Okay, that ritual mix there. Those elements are powerful. So cleansing bath with a candle, burning a release letter, shower meditation, a visualization of the energy washing off of you, smoke cleansing, okay, like the sage, Palo Santo, dragon's blood, okay, emotional journaling, simple but potent, okay. In addition to that, don't manifest, intend. So this moon intentions during Scorpio season should not be, I want money, I want more money, I want a new relationship, spirit, I want. No, Scorpio is asking, who do you need to become so you can handle what you want? So the intention should be, I intend to operate from my truth. I intend to release what drains me. I intend to stop betraying myself. I intend to make choices that empower my future. This is the intention of the identity, not the outcome, okay? So you really need to be grounding yourself after this emotional work, because Mercury is in retrograde, Uranus is in opposition to this energy in Scorpio, Neptune is dissolving boundaries, Saturn is anchoring emotional maturity. So grounding is going to be necessary. You ground yourself by drinking water, slowly breathing, stretching, resting, silence, placing your feet on the floor, salt, showers, okay? Journaling the insights that come in. So after emotional, extraction of all of that comes the embodiment, okay? Now, this new moon is about clearing, cleansing, releasing, and transforming. Not manifesting more, but letting go of what blocks what really is already yours. What blocks that you have that's preventing you from getting what you intend to get, okay? Now, let's get into the Aries signs, okay? 10:03, okay, and I'm probably going to jot down, if I can find my ink pen, I'm going to jot down the time stamps. Let's see if I can get an ink pen. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to jot down the time stamps. So we're doing 10:03 for Aries rising. Okay, Aries rising, Sun, Moon rising. Scorpio New Moon is hitting your 8th house. Oh, baby. So for Aries risings, this moon is cutting straight through that 8th house, the part of your chart that deals with what you share, what you owe, what you fear, what you avoid. So we're going to break this down thoroughly and accurately, okay, for you, Aries rising, okay? The new moon, Mercury, retrograde, and Lilith is in your 8th house. So this is where your emotional truth meets your shadow. So there's some old trauma responses, maybe some intimacy wounds, fear of being vulnerable, okay? Sexual truth, psychological patterns, secrets, shame-based behavior, patterns of emotional survival, karmic bonds, financial entanglements, okay? This new moon is not playing with you. Mercury retrograde means something from the past is resurfacing. Old conversations about trust or betrayal return. You get clarity on someone's true motives. You see exactly how you've either outgrown or you held back. Financial or emotional entanglements must be renegotiated, okay? That's what Mercury retrograde is saying. Now, Lilith here means that you're confronting a part of you that felt punished or shamed in intimacy. Anything that you've buried is now at the surface. Deal with that, okay? Now let's get into Uranus, because Uranus is at 29 degrees Taurus in your 2nd house, Aries rising, okay, which is opposing the moon and all of that, the Lilith and the sun. So this is major for Aries rising. This is your 2nd house of self-worth, money, stability, and material security. So Uranus here is bringing sudden income changes or shifts in your financial foundation, breakthroughs around how you value yourself, unexpected expenses or unexpected gains, a moment where you realize you've over or undervalued yourself far way too long, okay? Liberation from a financial, emotional, or energetic tie. Aries rising. So this opposition is asking you, what do you need to stop giving to people who haven't earned it? Okay? Where have you tied your worth to someone else's validation or their money? Because you can't keep sacrificing your own stability for emotional intensity anymore, Aries rising. Okay, so now let's look at Jupiter. What is Jupiter doing in Cancer? That's in your 4th house, while Saturn is in Pisces in your 12th house. These two form the emotional and the spiritual support system for you. As I said, this trine was going to be supportive, right? It's trining. So Jupiter being in your 4th house, Aries rising, is about your home, your family, your roots, okay? Your emotional foundation, your mother line, okay? Your ancestral patterns. Jupiter here for you in the 4th house, Aries rising, is saying that you're protected as you release. So you may get family support. You may get ancestral guidance, emotional clarity, a stabilizing influence at home. Now, Saturn being in your 12th house, this is the karmic cleanout, okay? Because Saturn is saying purge those old fears, break those hidden self-sabotaging habits, stop repeating the same emotional cycles, and take responsibility for your spiritual hygiene. You're cleaning out the basement of this psyche, okay? Now let's go to Neptune, Aries rising, being at 29 degrees Pisces, still in your 12th house of debts, intuition, subconscious memories, wide open. So you may have some vivid dreams. Remember things that you forgot. Feel emotional truth before it's spoken. See through lies instantly. Get psychic confirmation about something that you suspected. This is spiritual detox. Okay? So Aries rising, with all of this energy in play, in a few hours from now, this new moon is forcing you to reclaim your power in intimacy, money, and emotional exchange. You cannot keep giving more than you receive. You cannot keep carrying other people's emotional debt. A chapter ends here and your new self-worth begins. So this is the start of a new financial and emotional contract with who? You. Okay? Now, let's go to Taurus rising. Okay? Taurus rising 1008. Oh, dang. The pen ain't came loose. What the heck? Okay, hold on. Taurus rising. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Taurus rising. Okay, Aries. Okay. So Taurus rising, this Scorpio moon is in your 7th house. Oh Lord, cutting directly through the relationship sector, and it's doing it in a way that you cannot ignore. So because this isn't just any new moon, this is a Scorpio stellium with the sun, moon, Mercury retrograde, and Lilith that's confronting you through another person. So let's break that down, okay? Seventh house is you and another, partnerships. This is the house of one-on-one relationships, romantic partners, business partners, open enemies, agreements, contracts, significant others, and people that you confront head on. This is not a passive house. Anything that the seventh house activates, you see reflected in another person, okay? So this moon for you, Taurus rising, is saying a relationship storyline resets here, either through ending, renegotiation, or truth exposure. And Mercury retrograde is saying to you that a conversation, a person, or a dynamic from the past returns for resolution, whether that is for unfinished business, unspoken truths, past betrayals, old patterns, unresolved conflict. This is for you, Taurus rising. Emotional avoidance, communication issues. So someone may come back, not for reconciliation necessarily, but for closure or clarity, okay? Lilith here for you, Taurus rising, is saying that you're confronting the part of yourself that stays quiet to keep the peace, feels unappreciated, feels judged, feels taken for granted, feels sexually or emotionally misunderstood. This is the shadow of your relating patterns, fully exposed. For you, Taurus rising, Uranus is at 29 degrees in your first house, direct opposition to this scorpionic energy. So this is the moment for Taurus rising. This is you, your body, your identity, your vibe, your entire way of showing up in the world. And with Uranus being at 29 degrees in your first house, that means sudden personal breakthroughs, breaking out of your old identity, surprising decisions, disruptions to your image, shaking off anyone who suppresses your authenticity, an I'm done moment, reclaiming your independence, radical honesty about your needs, emotional liberation, okay? So this new moon for you, Taurus rising, is not asking you to adjust to others. It's forcing you to evolve. This opposition is saying a relationship is now the mirror showing you who you've become and who you refuse to be anymore. So your old self is expiring. Your new self is emerging. And it's emerging quick, okay? Jupiter now in Cancer, Taurus rising. Third house is that's occurring for you, okay? Saturn in Pisces is in your 11th house. So this is your support system. With Jupiter being in your third house, literally this is about communication, siblings, speaking the truth, okay? Your truth, that is. Learning new relationship skills, clearer thinking, emotionally charged conversations that finally bring clarity. Jupiter is expanding your voice here. So you may finally say what you avoided out of loyalty or fear, okay? Now with Saturn being in your 11th house, supports defining your social circles, releasing friendships or groups that interfere with your relationship health, higher standards, clarity on who your real supporters are, long-term relationship goals. So Saturn here for you, Taurus rising, being in your 11th house, is purifying your friendship and your future vision so that your relationship choices align with where you're going, not where you used to be, okay? So Neptune for you, okay, Neptune at 29 degrees, as right there with Saturn in Pisces, 11th house as well, trining your moon. So Neptune is dissolving the illusions around your friendships, your groups, your community dynamics, your people who pretend to care, but they don't. Social influences that confuse your relationship choices. So this is unveiling at this moment, okay? Now, you're probably going to see who is real, who is projecting. I know I am. I'm seeing so many people to project, okay? And when as a reader, I run into clients who, or they get into that frenzy of trying to find the answer that they want. And it's hard for them to take the answer that it really is, okay? And they project onto me because they're frustrated that they're not getting what they want, okay? That is a wound that they embody, that they need to heal, okay? So when you project, get away from me, okay? Because that's your wound when you project. I'm a mirror. So this is also an energy where you're going to be able to see who is jealous, who is misleading you, who is spiritually aligned with you. This is going to clarify your relationship path, Taurus rising. So my overall message for you, your relationship landscape is being rewritten. You are no longer the person that you were the last time that this pattern played out, okay? And this new moon is going to prove it. Whether a relationship ends, breaks open, or transforms, you are the one evolving. And this is the moment where you stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone. This is a turning point for you in how you show up in love, partnership, business, and conflict. The old version of you, the one who tolerated, the one who endured, compromised beyond reason, does not survive under this lunation. So your new identity is demanding new relationship dynamics. Taurus rising, okay? Now let's get into Gemini rising, 10-14. Okay, Gemini rising, this Scorpio new moon is in your 6th house, okay? So definitely this is where your mind, your habits, your health, your daily choices collide. Your 6th house. This is where Scorpio digs into the routines that slowly drain or empower you. So let's go ahead and get exact on this. With this new moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith in your 6th house. The 6th house is ruling work environment, co-workers, your daily responsibilities, your health, your stress, your mental overload, your repetitive patterns, your unhealthy coping mechanisms, and the body's reaction to emotional truth. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. The body's reaction to emotional truth. I'm going to let you have to sink in, okay? Now, when Scorpio energy energizes your 6th house, the truth about what's not working can no longer be overlooked. With this new moon being here for you, Gemini rising, okay, this is a major reset or an ending that's taking place around work habits, your job, your schedule, your health patterns, your stress tolerance, and the management of your energy. This is a detox of your daily life. 6th house topics, okay? Now, in addition to that, with Mercury retrograde being in Scorpio for you, Mercury is your ruling planet along with Virgo. Virgo, Mercury is your ruling planet too, okay? With Mercury, you thinking, okay, for Geminis. With Virgo, you analyzing. At the end of the day, it's cerebral energy. So for you, Gemini risings, you're reevaluating old work situations or old health issues that are resurfacing, old conversations with coworkers or supervisors, past burnout cycles, old stress triggers. You're releasing all that. You are reevaluating because Mercury's in retrograde. So we're doing the reads. Something you thought you handled comes back up. And it's not coming up to punish you, but to be permanently purged. And with Lilith being in Scorpio, Gemini rising, you confront where you've been exploited at work, taken on too much, been the fixer or the problem solver, pushed yourself past the limit, and ignored your body's boundaries. There is anger here because this house exposes what you've endured quietly. But Lilith here is empowering you to stop betraying your own well-being. Now, Uranus being at 29 degrees, that's sitting in your 12th house, direct opposition. So this is massive spiritual awakenings for Gemini risings. I just talked to two who's had some weird synchronicities and dreams, okay? So this 12th house is your subconscious, your hidden fears, the shadow self, the self-undoing, the addictions. When I say self-undoing, the unaliving, okay? The addictions, the emotional patterns, the spiritual warfare, the unresolved trauma, what you do in secret. And Uranus shocks this part of your psyche awake. So for you, Gemini risings, expect some sudden spiritual breakthroughs, some unexpected revelations, a hidden truth that's coming to light, a subconscious pattern that's collapsing, dreams delivering messages, a moment of seeing yourself clearly, anxiety spikes or shakes as your nervous system releases the old programming, a sudden urge to break a destructive habit. This opposition literally is asking you or telling you that your soul is forcing your body to stop carrying the weight of trauma. Your daily habits, 6th house, and your subconscious, 12th house, they collide during this time, and something has to change. Now, Jupiter being in Cancer, that's your 2nd house. Saturn in Pisces, that's your 10th house. So this water trine is your support system. So Jupiter in your 2nd house, this is expanding your income potential, your self-worth, your financial stability, your values, your sense of safety, okay? Your self-worth becomes the starting point of better habits, Gemini rising. Saturn being in your 10th house, this solidifies your career direction, your long-term goals, your discipline, your public reputation, and your professional boundaries. And Saturn here for you is saying if this job or this routine does not reflect who you're becoming, it cannot go into the future with you. Jupiter and Saturn together means that your habits must match the level of success that you're calling in. This is alignment work right here. Now, Neptune being at 29 degrees Pisces as well, sitting with Saturn in your 10th house, that influence there, Neptune is dissolving illusions around your career path, your role in the world, your professional fantasies versus reality, what you thought you wanted versus what you truly want, okay? Neptune is dissolving those illusions. Misalignment with supervisors or authority figures. You may suddenly realize that a dream is changing, a career is ending, a calling is open, or a version of your reputation is leaving you. Neptune clears away false career narratives so real purpose can change or emerge, okay? So Gemini risings, the overall spiritual message I have for you is your body, your mind, your spirit, they done with the old cycle. There's a daily habit, a job dynamic, or a health pattern that's ending, not because you failed, but because you outgrew the energy that created it. The universe is forcing a lifestyle shift so you can actually live the life that you keep talking about. So this is the beginning of a new health chapter for you, Gemini rising, a new work rhythm, new boundaries, new spiritual strength, new clarity, new mental freedom. The only thing that you cannot do under this new moon, Gemini rising, is to continue your old patterns. Okay? Now that I've said that, let's go to Cancer rising, 1021. Okay, Cancer risings, this is in your 5th house with this new moon here, all this energy. Okay, this is your heart space, your joy, your romance, your creativity, your children, your self-worth. This is where Scorpio digs straight into the places where passion and vulnerability meet. Okay, so let's get deep. New moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith in your 5th house, which governs romantic love, dating, passion, situationships, your sexual energy, your creativity, your joy, your children, whether literal or symbolic, your confidence, your inner child. Okay? With the new moon sitting at 27 to 28 degrees, really wrapping it up to 29 degrees, this house is being purged and reborn. Okay? This new moon here is saying that a new chapter ends and a new one begins around a romantic connection, your creative identity, the joy you've been denying, Leo rising, okay? Cancer rising, I'm sorry. Your creative identity, the joy that you've been denying, the passion that you suppressed, your inner child wounds, and how you show up emotionally in love. Now, Cancer risings, Sun, Moon rising, okay? Cancer, Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio telling you that the past is coming back for closure, clarity, accountability, truth, or emotional honesty. So whether that's a past lover or a past pattern in love, that may resurface, not to restart, but to show you the truth about your emotional needs. Lilith sitting here also is talking to you, Cancer rising. You're confronting the part of you that feels ashamed of wanting love, hiding your emotional, I would say hiding your sexual or your creative power, okay? Fearing being too much or too emotional. Okay, shrink your passion to keep other people comfortable. Lowering your standards in love. Can I repeat that again? Lowering your standards in love. Okay? Cancer risings. This new moon is exposing your pleasure wounds and heals them by force. Now, Uranus being at 29 degrees for you, okay? Cancer rising is in your 11th house, the opposition. So this is where the shock comes in. So the 11th house rules your friendships, your community, social media, your future, your public circles, your long-term goals, your audience, your hopes and dreams. With Uranus at 29 degrees, shaking up that area, it's shaking up your friendships, your group connections, the people influencing your love life, the communities that you're tied to, the future you've been projecting onto love with. Okay, so expect sudden shifts with friends, a friend revealing their true intentions, unexpected news from your social circle, a change in how you show up publicly, realization that certain friends have interfered with your heart life, alignment with people who support your joy and not suppress it. So Cancer risings, this opposition is basically saying that your joy and your future must match. You cannot keep choosing love that contradicts your destiny. Okay? Jupiter being in Cancer in your first house. Okay? It's been a lot of heavy for you Cancers out there. Okay? Depending on how this energy is pressing on you. And you have Saturn in Pisces in your 9th house. So you have the water supporting the water here. And this is major emotional protection. Trines is your protection, right? You're being supported. So Jupiter being in your first house, Cancer rising, there's identity expansion, emotional expansion, self-love expansion. So Jupiter is growing your confidence, your attractiveness, your desire to be seen, your personal power, your willingness to take up space. Okay, this is the most self-empowering transit that you can have during a Scorpio New Moon, Cancer rising, Sun, Moon, or risings. Saturn being in your 9th house, there are karmic lessons around your beliefs, spirituality, long-distance connections, truth, your integrity, or your life philosophy. Saturn here is saying what you believe about love is shaping how you love. What you believe about love is shaping how you love. So some limiting belief about what you deserve, okay? Emotionally, that's ending, okay? Now Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, that's in your 9th house. So you're spiritually wide open here, Cancer risings. Neptune is dissolving illusions about love, fantasies that kept you stuck, false romantic narratives, okay? Expectations that are rooted in trauma. Okay. Also, old philosophies, outdated moral codes about love and pleasure. This is where you choose truth over fantasy, alignment over attachment. So your intuition is dead on during this lunation. Okay. So the overall message for you, Cancer risings, is a romantic cycle or creative identity that you've outgrown. It's ending, and a more authentic, joyful, spiritually aligned version of love is beginning. Your joy is no longer optional. Your creativity is no longer negotiable. Your heart is demanding to be seen, okay? So this moon is healing your inner child, shaking out toxic friendships, correcting your romantic partners, pushing you into self-confidence, aligning your future and your pleasure, cutting off connections that block your joy. Cancer rising, this is a heart awakening and a destiny reset. Leo risings, Leo Sun, Moon risings, 1027. Okay, Leo, okay? We have Scorpio New Moon in your 4th house, Leo Sun, Moon rising. And so for you, Leo risings, this is drilling into your roots, your home, your family, your emotional foundation, your past, your security, and parts of your life nobody sees but everybody feels. This is a structural reset in the most private, sensitive area of your chart, that 4th house. So let's go further, okay? Now, this moon here with Mercury retrograde, Lilith in your 4th house, the house of 4th house governs family, home, childhood roots, emotional safety, where you retreat to, okay? Your inner emotional world, generational patterns, the mother line, the home environment, the private life, and the private truth. And when Scorpio gathers here, it is exposing family secrets, emotional wounds inside the home, suppressed anger, old resentments, private issues that you've kept to yourself. But this new moon in Scorpio, this is a new emotional chapter that's beginning, but only after something is released or brought into the open. And this can involve relocating, changing your living situation, ending a home dynamic, releasing childhood wounds, restructuring family relationships, emotional purging, finding emotional security in yourself and not others. Okay, Leo rising. Now Mercury sitting in retrograde in Scorpio 2 in your 4th house. The past returns through old family conversations, memories that you pushed away, childhood issues resurfacing. Yeah, Leo risings. Childhood issues resurfacing. A mother or a parent figure needing resolution. Okay? A truth about a family member finally being addressed. Leo risings. And I know a few of them got dang on it. Okay? Something you didn't understand before becomes extremely clear now. Lilith being in Scorpio in your 4th house. This is exposing the part of you that wasn't nurtured, the part of you that felt unwanted or unprotected, the emotional burdens that you carried as a child, Leo rising, the anger that you swallowed to survive, the resentment built from carrying others' emotional weight. Lilith here is saying stop minimizing what hurt you. Okay, because this new moon is asking you to finally confront and reclaim power from those roots. Okay, now Uranus at 29 degrees in your 10th house, direct opposition. So this is where the shock comes in. Your 10th house rules your career, your life direction, your public image, your reputation, your leadership, your long-term goals, your authority figures. And under this Uranus energy of 29 degrees, that's going to disrupt areas like your career path, your public role, your social status, your relationship with authority, your long-term plans, and your outer identity. Okay? This opposition, Uranus, is saying to you, you cannot build a stable public life on an unstable emotional foundation. So there may be some sudden changes in your career. There may be a breakthrough in your life direction, an abrupt shift in how you are seen publicly, a new destiny path opening, a job ending or beginning unexpectedly, a public truth coming out that shifts your inner story. Home, career equals reset. Oh, it's been the technology. Look, I'm just not looking at the screen because I'm like, dang, where are my people at? The technology has been crazy. Okay, with all of this energy going on, I'm not surprised. I'm just hoping that my video captures, okay? But we gonna still get through it, baby, because this is the most profound energy, okay? So I can feel it, and I thought I heard somebody. I can feel it. Okay, so we are on Leo risings, okay? So at the end of the day, with this opposition to Uranus for you, Leo risings, okay? A new destiny path could be opening, a job could be ending or beginning unexpectedly, or a public truth coming out that shifts your inner story. So it's a time to reset when it comes to your career and your home. We're talking 4th house, 10th house. So that the whole axis is lit up. So the universe is realigning your root with the Scorpio 4th house and your future with the Taurus 10th house. Okay? Now, let's go to the next. We're going to do Jupiter and Cancer real quick. Hold on. I need me some sugar. Okay, so Jupiter in Cancer. For you, Leo rising, this is in your 12th house. We got Saturn joining it with her. Well, actually, Saturn is in Pisces in your 8th house, okay? So this is emotional and spiritual protection because this is support, working behind the scenes. Jupiter is in your 12th house, so you're spiritually protected during this transition. Jupiter supports healing, okay? In addition, release, therapy, spiritual clarity, subconscious clearing, ancestral guidance, forgiveness, emotional surrender. Okay, now this is divine support during deep emotional work. And Saturn being in your 8th house, Saturn is restructuring shared resources, inheritance issues, debts, psychological patterns, okay, trauma responses, sexual and emotional entanglements. This is karmic cleanup. Saturn here for you, Leo rising, is saying you can't keep merging emotionally or financially with people who weaken your foundation. You are being pushed into emotional integrity Leo rising, okay? Now, for Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces, as well in your 8th house, which is trining to this new moon in Scorpio, Neptune is dissolving illusions around shared finances, intimacy, family dynamics, trauma bonds, old emotional contract, who owes you emotionally. This is the spiritual cleansing of your entanglements. So you may suddenly see that you've been given way too much, okay? You may suddenly see who drains your emotional energy. What trauma bond has kept you tied to someone? What emotional story that you inherited that never belonged to you? Because Neptune is purifying the emotional past so that that new inner security can take root. So my overall message for you, Leo rising, is your emotional foundation is being rebuilt from the ground up. From the ground up, okay? Aligning in your home, your family story, or your private emotional world that has kept you small, unstable, hurt, or silent. That ends here. Okay? The universe is restructuring your roots so that your future can finally take shape. This is a home reset, a career redirection, a family truth surfacing, an emotional purge, a release of generational burdens, a breakthrough in your sense of identity and security. So this new moon is the emotional rebirth of Leo rising. Okay? Now, with that said, we go into Virgo rising, slow connection, okay? 10:35. Virgo rising. You came right on time, okay? So this is occurring in your 3rd house, depending on your degree. Now, if you need help, you know how to get me. I'll see you in a minute anyway. Now, nonetheless, Virgo risings, this is rewriting your internal dialogue in your 3rd house of communication style, your relationships with siblings, and the narratives that you've been repeating to yourself for years, Virgo risings. I know a lot of Virgo risings. Now, this could be your sun, moon, Venus. I have Venus and my moon in Virgo, okay? So I understand this right here, okay? This is the mental and the karmic detox inside the houses where your thoughts shape your reality, okay? So let's go deep for you, Virgo risings, with the moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith, all being in Scorpio. That's in your 3rd house. That's your mindset, communication, conversations, messages, siblings, neighbors, your daily thinking pattern, your nervous system, your mental conditioning, the stories that you tell and the stories that you believe. With this new moon, Mercury retrograde, and Lilith all in Scorpio here, you're entering a mental rebirth. And this new moon is saying to you a new chapter begins in how you think, how you speak your truth, who you communicate with, how honest your conversations are, your approach to boundaries in communication, your relationships with your siblings or your close peers. This shift doesn't start with positive thinking, okay? It starts with purging the mental poison that you've been carrying. Because Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is saying to you, prepare for some old conversations that are going to resurface, some truths coming out, some confronting something that you've been avoiding saying, some rereading messages with new understanding, some re-examining your assumptions, some revisiting paperwork or agreements, some mental rewiring, a wait, now I see it moment, okay? Mercury retrograde for you, Virgo risings, here exposes where your mind has been working against your growth. Lilith here for you in Scorpio is saying that you confront the thoughts that you don't tell anybody about, the jealousy, the resentment, or the hurt that you swallowed, the shame-based thinking, the intrusive thoughts where your mind was conditioned to stay small or safe, the empowerment through the voice that you silenced. Okay, so Lilith is reclaiming your voice. You're done apologizing for speaking your truth. I felt that in my throat chakra heavy the other day, okay? It's time. Uranus at 29 degrees Taurus in your 9th house, a direct opposition, Virgo rising. So there's a massive breakthrough energy in your 9th house, which is ruling your beliefs, your higher education, your worldview, whether that's religion or spirituality, your long distance travel, your publishing, your mentors, your philosophies, okay? And your truth. This opposition to Uranus is your mind versus your beliefs. So your old worldview is breaking. Expect sudden perspective shifts, a belief system collapsing, a spiritual awakening, a moment of, I can't unsee this shit no more, an unexpected news that alters your worldview, spontaneous desire to study something new, changes in your sense of truth, outgrowing an old framework of thinking, because this universe is blowing holes in your mental walls that you didn't realize that you built. Your mind is upgrading because your old belief system can no longer hold your new reality, okay? With Jupiter being in Cancer, that's your 11th house. With Saturn being in Pisces, that's your 7th house. So your support system with this grand water trine is emotional and relational. Now, Jupiter in the 11th house, that's expanding your friendships, your networks, okay? Your community, your visions for the future, your social influence, the people who encourage your growth. Jupiter gives you new friends or reveal who never was your friend. Okay. Now, Saturn in the 7th house for you, Virgo risings, is solidifying boundaries in relationships, partnership lessons, maturity in conflict, accountability, okay? Clarity in agreements, the balance between you versus them. Y'all see how, honey, if you would have got on right when I started, I was dropping all kind of little things, okay? It's been a crazy moment for me. Okay, so this is a karmic relationship cleanup for you, Virgo rising, and Saturn is saying that you cannot keep thinking like the old you and expect a healthy relationship. So your mindset must match your relationship goals. Now, with Neptune being at 29 degrees and Pisces in your 7th house as well, Neptune is dissolving illusions around romantic partners, business partners, close friends, open enemies, the people you've idealized, the people you've misread, and the people who misread you. Neptune is revealing where you projected potential, where you ignored red flags, where your communication has been unclear, where you've been spiritually linked to someone through fantasy, not reality. And so this is giving you new clarity for your 3rd house rebirth. Now, the overall message for you, Virgo rising. Baby, you are undergoing a mental awakening, okay? So your thoughts, your words, your communication style, and even your belief system, they all are being reset right now. You can no longer speak from fear, shrink your truth, or allow anyone to distort your voice, because this moon is exposing those mental patterns that kept you stuck and gives you that breakthrough that you've needed to think, speak, choose, and believe differently. Okay? Virgo risings. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Now, I would say, in addition to this is a mental detox, a communication rebirth, truth awakening, a shift in belief, a rewiring of your inner dialogue, a recalibration of how you relate to others. So Virgo rising, your mind is being liberated. Okay. Now let's go to Libra risings, 1042. Okay. Now Libra risings, this Scorpio New Moon is in your 2nd. I'm a Libra rising, and I was doing my whole budget last night, my business, everything. I was in the numbers and the receipts and the tallies and everything. Okay, so this is my 2nd house. But nonetheless, Scorpio New Moon is in your 2nd house. So for Libra rising, Sun Moon risings, okay, this could resonate for you as well. This new moon goes straight to that 2nd house. That's the house of self-worth, your value systems, your money, your confidence, your boundaries, and how you build stability in your life. So this is where Scorpio is digging deep into what you hold on to and why are you holding on to it. So let's go deep with precision. New moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith in Scorpio in your 2nd house, which governs your income, your money, your possessions, your savings, your self-esteem, your stability, your values, your personal priorities, and your sense of security, okay? With this Scorpio stellium sitting here, you are confronting themes around the emotional foundation under your financial choices, why you've accepted less than you deserve, where your self-worth has been drained, where you've outgrown and undercharged, out over giving and undercharged. And all that used to be me. That used to be me. Why you stayed in situations that don't support your values. So this moon in Scorpio is saying to you, Libra risings, there is a financial and an emotional reset that's beginning. This may involve changing how you earn, changing how you price your skills, releasing financial dependency, cutting off people who drain you financially, okay? In addition to that, rebuilding security from the inside, not through people, and shifting your priorities. But it starts with emotional truth. Now, Mercury sitting here in retrograde is saying to you in your second house, you're revisiting your old financial mistakes. Yes, I am. Past money trauma, getting rid of that scarcity mindset, old conversations about worth or support, agreements or contracts that need to be reevaluated. Speaking of which, I got to reevaluate my... Let me put that down. That just came to the dome. Okay? Situations where you accepted less compensation or emotional reciprocity. So this is a reckoning with your financial past. Lilith here in Scorpio is saying that you're about to confront shame around wanting more, fear of being too demanding, fear of taking up space financially, the tendency to overcompensate, the pattern of undervaluing yourself. Lilith is empowering you to stop apologizing for having needs. Okay? Now, with this opposition in Uranus, that's in your 8th house, a direct opposition, okay? This is major for you because this is 8th house ruling shared resources, partner income, debts, taxes, inheritances, intimacy, emotional merging, karmic entanglements, trauma, emotional power dynamics. Uranus opposing this new moon is saying a financial or emotional entanglement is breaking open. You will no longer depend on what drains you. So expect some sudden financial changes, some unexpected shifts in partner income, a breakthrough around debt, a karmic tie ending abruptly, emotional detachment from a toxic bond, empowerment around what you share and what you keep. Okay? Liberation from a financial or a psychological dependency. This is the break the chain moment for you, Libra risers. You need to stop carrying other people's weight. Okay? Now, Jupiter in Cancer is in your 10th house, dropping blessings on you, and I'm a recipient of that, okay, as a Libra rising. Saturn is in Pisces in your 6th house, okay? Now, this is where the emotional and the professional support comes in for you, because Jupiter being in your 10th house expands career opportunities, your visibility, your professional recognition, okay? Your ambition, your role in the world, and your confidence to step into leadership. Jupiter is activating your ability to earn more, and it is saying to you that you're meant for more. Your self-worth must rise to match your potential. Now, with Saturn being in your 6th house, that is stabilizing your work routines. That is also your daily habits, your discipline, your approach to health, your work-life structure, your productivity. Saturn here is setting the boundaries that protect your value and your income. So you are being restructured from the inside out so that your money can grow. Libra risings. Now, Neptune being at 29 degrees, that's in your 6th house too. So Neptune is dissolving the illusions about your work, fantasies about being rescued, martyrdom patterns, unhealthy service dynamics, jobs or routines that drain your spirit. You may realize that a job is no longer aligned with you. Your health has taken a hit. You've been given too much. You need emotional healing before taking on more. Neptune is cleaning out the spiritual debris in your daily life. So the overall message for you, Libra rising, this is your worthiness awakening, okay? You are shedding old stories about what you deserve, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, as well as energetically, okay? So there's a financial pattern that's ending, a self-worth pattern that's ending, a dependency cycle that's ending. This new moon is saying, reset your financial life, rebuild your self-esteem, liberate from toxic entanglements, align yourself with higher valued opportunities, strengthen your boundaries, awaken a new sense of personal power, because Libra rising, the universe is saying to you, stop accepting crumbs. You are done with that scarcity mess, emotionally and financially. on to the next, which is the star of the night. 10:48. Scorpio risings, where are you? Okay, baby, because this new moon is in your first house. This is your new moon, and you know about transformation. Okay, so anyone with sun, moon, rising, Venus, Scorpio Scorpio placements, you really want to pay attention to this, especially in the degree that it's in. But it's in your first house anyway, okay? So for Scorpio risings, this new moon is really in your life, okay? It's happening in you. Your identity, your energy, your instincts, your boundaries, your body, your direction, your power, your shadow, your vibe. All of it's being purified and reborn. Scorpio rising. This is the most intense placement of the entire zodiac for this lunation. So let's go layer by layer for you, because the waters get deep. This new moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith, all in your first house. Your first house is your body, your personality, your presence, okay? Your avatar, okay? Your appearance, your energy field, your identity, your first instinctual reaction, how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. This is a personal exorcism, a shedding, a psychic moat. This new moon is saying to you, a new you is being born, but only after that old identity dies. So this may show up as changing how you present yourself, cutting ties with people who can't handle your evolution, a sudden pivot in your direction, shedding an old persona, releasing a coping mechanism or a survival mode identity, okay? Deciding that you're done being the version of you people expect, okay? Now, this is rebirth, not improvement. Mercury here in retrograde is saying your mind is rewriting who you are. So you may revisit old expectations that were placed on you, old roles that you played, past identities, old arguments where you weren't heard, memories that shaped who you became, conversations where you minimized your truth. This is the moment where psychological introspection transforms the self-concept. Lilith in Scorpio is also saying this is the return of the exiled self, the part of you that was demonized, that was shamed, punished for being powerful, silenced for telling the truth, forced to shrink or dim your light, and was told that you were too intense, too emotional, too much. Lilith is saying, be all of yourself, unapologetically. This new moon is bringing that power back online, okay? Now, with Uranus being a direct opposition, that's occurring in your 7th house. 7th house. So Scorpio, sun, moon, risings, this is the other half of your rebirth. Your 7th house, relationships, commitments, agreements, the people you face directly, your mirror energies, your partner, your opponents. Uranus here is going to bring some relationship shocks, some sudden shifts in partnerships, some unexpected breakups and breakthroughs, someone revealing their truth, you revealing your truth, old relational patterns that are cracking, freedom from a connection that was limiting you, a new relationship perspective, disruption of a stagnant bond, because this universe here right now, Scorpio rising, is saying you can't keep being the old you inside old relationship patterns, because your identity is changing, and so are your relationships, because they have to shift, okay? And this can feel like liberation, confrontation, honesty, shock, alignment, ending, awakening, or all of the above, because Uranus breaks the chains that the old you stayed bound in, Scorpio rising. Now, where your support system coming in at, Jupiter being in Cancer in your 9th house, Saturn being in Pisces in your 5th house. These two water planets from a trine is going to support your rebirth, because Jupiter being in the 9th house, that's going to expand your beliefs, your spirituality, okay? Your worldview, your intuition, your faith, your desire to travel or relocate, okay? A desire to grow past old stories, your higher truth. So you've been given a bigger life to fit the bigger you that's emerging, okay? And this is where your higher self comes online, because Saturn also is going to be in your 5th house. Okay, now that's restructuring romance patterns, creative expression, how you give your heart, how you show yourself, your confidence, your relationship with pleasure, children, whether that's symbolic or literal, your inner child wounds. Saturn here for you in the 5th house, Scorpio rising, is saying that you cannot keep loving or expressing yourself from a wounded place. You are building a more mature relationship with your heart, your talents, your joy, your desires. So this is emotional grown-up energy now. So put your big panty on, okay? Or your trousers. Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces is also in your 5th house, trining to the sun and the moon for you. So Neptune is dissolving illusions and romance, Scorpio risings, fantasy, projections, artistic blocks, delusions about love, childhood wounds that are embedded in desire, okay? Unhealthy romantic patterns. I already know something about to go down with some folk, but you know what? It ain't my business, but I seen it through my mind's eye, okay? So for you Scorpio risings, you suddenly see who you idealized, who idealized you, who projected onto you, what you romanticized incorrectly, who you loved from trauma instead of soul, and what you denied to yourself to maintain an illusion. Because your heart is becoming clearer. Your creative energy is becoming pure. Your intuition is becoming exact. Okay? Scorpio rising. So my overall message for you, Scorpio rising, a version of you is dying permanently. A new version is taking your place, because one of these aspects, and I think it's the North Node or this Uranus being in, hasn't happened in over 120 years ago. Okay, so this energy that we're getting is very rare. So we have no choice, okay? Now, Scorpio rising, the version of you is dying. A new version is taking your place. And this is not transition. This is a resurrection. Your relationships, your identity, your desires, and your truth structures are all being rewritten. The next chapter of your life needs the real you, not the one created by the trauma or the expectation of you. This new moon is a self-concept overhaul, a relationship mirror activation, a romantic and creative reset, a destiny pivot, a spiritual rebirth, a breaking of soul contracts, a claiming of unapologetic identity. Scorpio risings, you are walking out of this illumination as someone new. I felt that, y'all. Okay, 1056, Sag. Sagittarius, where my Saggies at, okay? Now, Sagittarius rising, this is occurring in your 12th house, this new moon, all of this scorpionic energy, okay? Now, this is the realm of the subconscious, the soul, the past, the hidden, the spiritual, the ancestral, and the buried. This is not a light transit for you, Sagittarius risings. This is a soul purge, okay? So let's go down accurately and thoroughly for you as you like. Now, with the new moon, Mercury retrograde, Lilith, all in Scorpio, that's in your 12th house. 12th house rules the unconscious mind, hidden fears, ancestral patterns, karmic loops, spiritual warfare, isolation, private suffering, dreams, intuition, divine intervention, self-undoing, protection, the parts of you that you do not show. With this Scorpio stellium here for you Sagittarius rising, this is a massive relief of repressed emotions, hidden resentments, subconscious patterns, fear-based beliefs, outdated coping mechanisms, energetic attachments, psychic residue from past relationships. Because this new moon for you Sagittarius rising is saying that a cycle of suffering or secrecy is ending. A new spiritual chapter is beginning. So expect a psychic awakening, vivid dreams, old memories resurfacing, sudden emotional release, okay? Intuitive clarity, a message from spirit, a feeling of spiritual protection, a completion of long hidden wounds. Mercury being in retrograde is also saying you're going to revisit some old fears, old spiritual lessons, past misunderstandings, internal narratives that you didn't realize were running, hidden grief, the origin of the certain trauma. So you see through your own subconscious. This is a psychological detox. With Lilith joining all of this energy in your 12th house, Lilith is saying that you meet your shadow, the part of you that hides your pain, hides your intuition, your anger, your truth, suppressing your desires and avoiding confrontation through spiritual bypassing. Lilith is forcing you to reclaim that exiled self and stop spiritually gaslighting yourself. Okay, now Uranus at 29 degrees is in your 6th house, direct opposition. Now this is the breakthrough that connects your soul to your lifestyle. With your 6th house, this is your work, your health, your routines, your stress, your schedule, your physical well-being, and what drains your energy on a daily basis. With Uranus opposing the new moon, okay, your spiritual health and your I would say your spiritual health and your physical and mental, because we got to always look at the opposite sign, because that's the entire axis. So we talking Virgo, Pisces, okay? Houses, not the signs, but the houses. These are the themes in those houses. So this is the physical, the mental health. They're connected, and something must change here, Sagittarius rising. So expect some sudden changes in your work schedule, some health breakthroughs, some nervous system release, some ending a toxic work pattern, leaving a draining job, unexpected shifts in daily rhythm, waking up to how your habits sabotage your spirit. This is liberation through lifestyle change, and your body is done absorbing spiritual and emotional toxins. Okay? Now, with Jupiter being in Cancer at the 8th house, Saturn being in Pisces in your 4th house, this is your support system. This is powerful emotional and ancestral healing type of support, okay? So Jupiter in your 8th house is expanding your deep healing, your intimacy, your trauma recovery, your psychological truth, your shadow integration, your soul rebirth, ancestral messages, the desire to purge what is stagnant. Jupiter protecting you during this purge is going to help you face your shadow, heal those emotional wounds, those patterns inherited from our parents, home dynamics, okay? Your relationships with your inner child. I mean, not your relationships, unless you got a Gemini energy, okay? But nonetheless, or Pisces energy, those are the two duality signs. But your relationship of your inner child, Sagittarius rising, how you process your emotions. So with Saturn being here, that's saying your emotional past has too much power. Let's fix that. And this is the healing, the root, okay? Now, for you also, Sagittarius rising with Neptune and 29 degrees in your 4th house, trining the moon. Neptune is dissolving illusions about the family, old emotional narratives, inherited traumas, guilt programmed in childhood, the stories that shaped your inner child, spiritual distortions passed down from the bloodline, because Neptune lets you see the emotional truth beyond the family programming. So you finally understand why you react the way you do, where the emotional pain started, what part of your childhood needs healing, and what you absorbed from others, because this is a spiritual cleansing of your origin story, Sagittarius rising. So my overall message for you is, this is the end of a karmic loop. You are shedding a psychological burden that has shaped your life for years, maybe even lifetimes, okay? Your soul is being reset. Your subconscious is being purified. Your spirit is being freed from an old narrative. This new moon is a spiritual purge, a dream activation, a karmic closing, a deep emotional cleanse, a release of hidden fear, a nervous system reset, a realignment of your daily life with your spiritual truth. Because Sagittarius rising, this is your spiritual rebirth. Okay? Whew. Let's go on. 11:02 for Cappies, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Risings. Where are my Cappy babies? I'm a North Node Capricorn, Jupiter Capricorn. Okay, I go hard. I have to go hard. Okay. Nonetheless, this is occurring in your 11th house, Cappies. Okay, so the house of friendships, community, alliances, social networks, long-term dreams, professional associations and the future that you're building toward, okay? Now, this is a collective reset. So the people in your life and the future path that you've been trying to create is occurring. So let's break that down thoroughly for you. With this new moon in Scorpio, Mercury retrograde, Lilith, all sitting in your 11th house, Cappies. This house rules friendships, social circuses, circles, okay? I tell you, Mercury retrograde is doing a number on my vernacular, okay? Social circles, alliances, support systems, community, your audience, social media presence, your hopes and long-term goals, how you connect with the world. With this Scorpio stellium sitting here, you're seeing the truth about who is for you, who is against you, who envies you, who drains you, who is loyal, who is fake, who supports your evolution, and who wants you to stay stagnant and stuck. You're going to be able to see that because this new moon is saying that a major chapter ends or begins with friendships, group involvement, alliances, long-term plans, and your social visibility, because this can bring some unfriending, disconnecting, loss of resonance, y'all not vibrating on the same frequency no more, shifting communities or stepping into new circles, social circles that is. Mercury retrograde also sitting here is telling you to revisit some past friendships or some old wounds, social wounds that is, unfinished conversations, unresolved conflict with groups, misunderstandings within your circles, hidden motives or agendas, okay? Cappy risings, Capricorn risings. You may also reconnect with someone from the past because the time seeing them now, you'll be able to see them clearly. Lilith, though, is also saying that you're going to confront where you felt rejected, where your power intimidated others, where you were scapegoated, where you held back your voice, where people projected onto you, where envy or competition blocked connection. Okay? You'll be able to see that clearly because Lilith is going to help you reclaim that social power without the self-abandonment. Uranus, 29 degrees in your 5th house, direct opposition. So this is the electrifying part right here. So your 5th house governs the creativity, the romance, your children, your joy, your self-expression, your passion. You know what lights you up. Uranus at 29 degrees, Taurus, opposing this new moon is saying to you, Capricorns, your joy and creative expression can no longer be dimmed by your community. So expect sudden romantic revelations, changes in dating dynamics, a passion project that's taken off, a sudden desire to create, a shift in how you express your joy, a rupture in friendships that suppress your happiness, a liberation from social pressure, unexpected romantic or creative breakthroughs. This is you versus the crowd, and you are going to choose you. Uranus cracks open your joy so that you can stop sacrificing it for social acceptance. Now, with Jupiter, your support system comes in with Jupiter being in Cancer, 7th house, Saturn being in Pisces, 3rd house. So these two are stabilizing your relationships and your communication. With Jupiter being in the 7th house, that's going to be expanding partnerships, agreements, okay, collaborations, close connections, heart-centered reciprocity, relationship opportunities, okay? This could be business, finance, platonic partnerships. This new moon for you, Capricorn Capricorn risings are cutting away toxic or false friendships. And Jupiter is sending real ones, okay? Blessings, real ones. Healthy relationships are going to flourish now. Now with Saturn, your ruling planet, is in the 3rd house. That is restructuring themes around communication patterns, boundaries in conversations, mental discipline, your everyday interactions, and how you share information. Who has access to you? Because Saturn is saying that your words and your time, they're valuable now. Protect that, okay? This reinforces your 11th house cleanse. Now, with Neptune being in 29 degrees Pisces in your 3rd house as well, it's dissolving illusions in communications, lies from friends or acquaintances, misunderstandings, projections, false narratives, gossip, people-pleasing patterns. And this is the moment when people said or refused to say become very clear, okay? Because there is no more distortion, no more pretending, no more ignoring vibes, because your intuition around people is becoming razor sharp, Capricorns, okay? So my overall message for you, Cappies, your social universe is being purified. Anyone who cannot match your integrity, your evolution, or your destiny path is falling away, okay? This new moon here is going to cleanse out your network so that you can walk into a future that is actually meant for you, not one shaped by obligation or outdated connections. So this is a friendship cleanse, a community reset, a vision realignment, a revelation of hidden motives, okay? A romantic or creative breakthrough, a shift toward authentic alliances. Capricorns, you are stepping into new circles, new audiences, new futures, and new alliances, ones that are aligned with your soul's evolution. Moving on, we're almost in Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, okay? 11:09. Okay, this Scorpio energy, new moon is taking off in your 10th house. So for Aquariuses, this new moon is coming for your 10th house, your career, your reputation, your public path, your long-term goals, and the legacy that you're trying to build. But because Uranus is opposing it, your ruling planet, your home life is being shaken at the same time. So this is a fated pivot. So let's break this down every layer, okay? Now, this moon is going to be so profound that it can, I think, extend, from what I'm understanding, it's going to be able to be a 6-month window here, okay? So this could be occurring over the next 6 months. So for you, Aquarius, the moon, Mercury retrograde, and Lilith is in your 10th house. Career, public status, leadership, big goals, reputation, your role in the world, your calling, major life milestones, authority figures. This lunation is dragging every hidden truth about your path to the surface. So this new moon is saying to you, Aquarius, that a major career cycle is ending and a new one is beginning. So expect themes around career direction changes, job transitions, reputation rebuild, stepping into authority, confronting fears of visibility, releasing an old career identity. Mercury retrograde is saying you're going to revisit some old career decisions, some unfinished professional conversations, some past opportunities, some unresolved issues with bosses or authority figures, miscommunication around your role, plans or goals that you set but never executed, because the truth about your path is going to become very, very clear. Lilith sitting here in your 10th house is saying you're going to confront the ways that you've centered your power, where you silenced or overlooked, fear of being fully seen, fear of taking up space professionally, fear of the pressure to be perfect, shame around the ambition or the success, because Lilith is demanding that you stop shrinking to fit others' expectations. So this is your public power retrieval, okay? Now, with your ruling planet being at 29 degrees Taurus in your 4th house, a direct opposition, this is where your energy gets chaotic because it's a necessary way, okay, that it occurs. Your 4th house is your home, your family, your ancestor roots, your 4 walls, your emotional base, the private life behind the scenes. So Uranus is going to bring some sudden changes in the housing sector, unexpected moves, revelations within the family, some emotional breakthroughs, some disruptions at home, some clarity around family responsibilities, some liberation from old emotional conditioning, because this opposition here with Uranus, your ruling planet, is saying that your home life must evolve so that your career can rise, okay? Or your family dynamic can no longer dictate your destiny. So this axis here is changing both where you're going and where you're rooted. 4th house, 10th house. Something at home that once felt stable may suddenly shift, but it's redirecting you toward your true path, trusted. Now, your support system comes in with Jupiter being in Cancer in your 6th house, Saturn being in Pisces in your 2nd house. So your support system is practical and emotional. Jupiter in the 6th house expands your work routine, your job opportunities, your co-workers who support you, your efficiency, your desire to improve your life, Aquarius, is your health habits. Jupiter is giving you the stamina and the support to step into your next career phase. Workload may grow, but the benefits are going to be there, okay? The workload grow with the benefits, says Jupiter, okay? Now, Saturn is in your 2nd house, so that is restructuring your finances, your savings, your values, your earning power, your relationships, your relationship with money, your boundaries around self-worth. Saturn here for you, Aquarius, is saying that your career path must reflect your true value, not your survival instincts or your old insecurities, because this is a major money alignment for you, Aquarius risings, sun, moon risings. Now, Neptune, that being in 29 degrees in Pisces, is hitting your 2nd house. Okay, so this is going to dissolve illusions about your worth, financial fantasies, undercharging, over-giving, that imposter syndrome, the emotional spending, the outdated financial beliefs. You are going to suddenly see where you've minimized your worth, where you've been financially or energetically drained, and what has kept you in bare minimum survival mode, because this new moon with Neptune combo is a financial awakening, okay? Now, my overall message for you, Aquarius, is your destiny is changing direction. The way the world sees you is being reborn, and the version of home or emotional security that you've relied on can no longer hold who you're becoming, okay? Pluto is also in Aquarius, so you're going through a lot right now, as I'm going to speak about that here. I think I did. Yeah, I already talked about that. So there is some career elevation, I'd say, that's going to require some emotional liberation, okay? A new path that's going to require a new foundation. So this is a career reset, a public identity shift, a breakthrough in your purpose, a sudden home or family shift, a reevaluation of your worth, a realignment of your daily work, and a rewriting of your future goals. Aquarius rising. This is the new moon that puts you on your true path. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, last but not least, I'm out this thing. I thought it was 9, 10, 11. Okay, I thought 2 hours and 30 minutes because I put all week doing this. So Pisces rising, 11, 16. 11, 16. Okay, Pisces. Okay, last zodiac, but not the last like importance, okay? Pisces rising. This Scorpio new moon is in your 9th house. So all of this Scorpio energy is happening in your 9th house. So for you, this is the house of higher knowledge, spiritual truth, long distance connections, education, faith, worldview, travel, expansion, and personal philosophy. So this is the life path rewrite house. And Scorpio is demanding truth. So let's break it all down for you clearly here, Pisces. This new moon, Mercury retrograde, and Lilith is in your 9th house. So your 9th house governs spiritual beliefs, your personal truth, your worldview, your moral compass, your higher education, whether you're publishing or content creating, long distance relationships, long distance travel or relocation, mentorship and teaching, the meaning behind your life experiences. Because this moon is forcing you to confront outdated beliefs, inherited belief systems, spiritual distortions, illusions that shaped your worldview, where you've been pretending or avoiding, a truth you've been afraid to say out loud, a path you've wanted but didn't reclaim, a fear of expansion, a fear of stepping into your calling. Pisces, this new moon is saying that there is a new destiny being offered. But first, a belief, an illusion, or a story about yourself must die. because you're stepping into a higher truth. Now, with Mercury being in retrograde, you're revisiting old beliefs, past spiritual experiences, conversations about purpose, mentors who shaped your path, teachings that influenced you, a truth that you avoided, past long distance or educational matters. Because this is a belief audit. You think differently because you see differently. And Pisces, Lilith is also saying in Scorpio that you're going to confront fear of being wrong, fear of being judged, fear of being too much spiritually, shame around what you believe, the part of you that hid your intuitive brilliance, suppressed your spiritual or your sexual wisdom, a fierceness in your voice that's returning. And Lilith is saying that your truth doesn't need permission because this is the awakening of the unapologetic spiritual self. Okay? Now, Uranus being at 29 degrees Taurus, it's going to be in your third house, a direct opposition. So this is the breakthrough that connects your mind to your truth. And the third house is your communication, your thinking, your speaking, your writing, your siblings, your local environment, your immediate reality. Uranus is going to shake areas around this area hard. So expect sudden news, surprising conversations, an emotional truth spoken abruptly, a breakthrough in your thinking, an old narrative breaking instantly, a lightning strike insight, a message that changes your path, a radical mental shift, a deep intuitive download, the courage to speak what you know. Because this is the moment that your mind catches up to your soul. And this opposition here is saying that the truth that you've been afraid to speak is a truth that sets you free, Pisces. Now, your support system. Jupiter in Cancer is going to be in your 5th house. Saturn is in Pisces in your 1st house. So this is powerful, creative, and personal support. Jupiter in your 5th house is expanding joy, creativity, romance, self-expression, visibility, your voice, and your talents, as well as your passion projects. Jupiter's message for you is your truth deserves expression, not suppression. Your creative work, your voice, or your message may expand dramatically. Now, with Saturn being in your 1st house, it's restructuring your identity, your boundaries, your sense of self, how you show up, your maturity, and your inner authority. And this is a profound identity shift. Saturn here for you, Pisces, is saying that you can't keep living under an old version of you because you're becoming someone wiser, stronger, and more defined. Neptune, your ruling planet at 29 degrees, is in your 1st house, okay? This is huge for you, Pisces, because Neptune is going to dissolve old roles, false identities, masks, projections, fantasies about who you thought you had to be, spiritual confusion, boundary issues. You finally see yourself clearly, Pisces. This is the ending of the fog era for you. This transit is going to give some spiritual clarity, some identity purification, some intuitive accuracy, some ego dissolving, some rebirth of some authentic self. So Pisces, you become aligned with who you truly are, spiritually and emotionally. So my overall message for you, Pisces, is this new moon transforms your truth, a belief, a worldview, or a spiritual story that you've lived under is ending because your soul needs a bigger path, a clearer voice, and a more authentic identity. So your mind and your intuition finally connect. Your voice and your destiny finally align. You're stepping into a new chapter of embodied truth. And this is a belief system that resets, a spiritual awakening, a communication breakthrough, a new life path, a shift in your purpose, a speaking, teaching, learning chapter that's opening, a psychological liberation, and an identity renewal. Pisces, you emerge from this lunation with a new truth, a new voice, and a new destiny path. Okay? So my final message in closing, okay? 11:23. This new moon in Scorpio is not a surface level reset, my people. It's a karmic ending, a psychological purge, and a soul rebirth all rolled into one. You've walked your audience, okay, enough through this life. I would call it obstacles or challenges, okay? It is time for you to sit down and let the universe allow you to release, detox, let go. You're supported. It's going to be cathartic. But what's on the other side of that is that new, okay, within you. So, with that said, as we close this out, I definitely want you to understand something very clearly here, my people. This new moon is happening at one of the most intense degrees in Scorpio, and it has a degree of truth, exposure, endings, and ancestral awakening. Everything that's been suppressed, everything that you've tolerated, anything you've been afraid to admit, everything you've outgrown, everything you've been trying to spiritually bypass, this lunation drags it to the surface so it can finally die. Not to punish you, not to overwhelm you, but to free you. The Sabian Symbol told you the story. The inner child, the future self, the vulnerable parts of you are pleading to be protected. And the chief, the authority, is you. You decide what gets your attention, okay? You decide what gets to stay, what gets to go, what gets to live in the next chapter with you. And with Uranus sitting at 29 degrees Taurus, the final karmic degree, anything built on fear, fantasy, illusion, dependency, denial, emotional survival mode, it will not survive under this lunation because it can't. It's not aligned with who you're becoming. This new moon is the line in the sand. This is the moment that Spirit hands you the scissors and tells you to cut the card, release the story, end the contract. Take your power back and walk into this future that has been waiting on you. Okay? That is my collective message. With that said, I'm going to give you a affirmation and I'm out. I release the version of myself I created in survival. I honor the truth rising within me. I reclaim my power with clarity and calm. I let go of what drains my spirit. I choose the future that aligns with my soul. I rise reborn, protected, and aligned. You say that 3 times during this new moon window. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. Okay? Once with the mind, once with the heart, and once with the soul. As above, so below, as within, so without, so mote it be. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Thank you all for being with me. I will have the timestamp stamped. Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon, okay? Okay, I want to make sure nobody said nothing. But I'll get this uploaded to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you haven't subscribed, you have people to subscribe. 8 subscriptions away from 50 people. From 50, so I can go live. Once I get 50 people, I'm able to go live, which is really where I want to be on this type of energy, okay? But nonetheless, for now, we'll make do with Facebook until I get 8 more people, okay? I love you, cuz. I'll see you soon. Love and light. I'm out.